Hello, so I'm new to this being BookTube or AuthorTube. It depends on how you see it. I don't think it depends on how you see it. I think those are two different things on some level, and if not in the name, then in the content. But I do think there's probably a good deal of overlap between those two, and I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of both this time. But to start off with, my name is Desiree. My potential pen name, which is still a work in progress. I don't know how I feel about it. I like it, but I'm indecisive, so I might change my mind on it later. But for now, my pen name is Desiree and I've. Now, R.A.M. is pronounced, as a word, as like R.A.M., like it's spelt, but it's spelt like its initials rather than a name. It's like how you would name a robot in a sci-fi story. Something like that. Now, I am new to BookTube, but I'm not new to YouTube in general. I've been on YouTube on and off for years, but the thing is, I have never put my face on YouTube before. That's actually not totally true, but like I think when it says when I did, but I took it down, so it doesn't count. But I've never actually put my face on YouTube before, but I noticed that with BookTube, a lot of other people were putting their faces on it. It seemed like a standard that, like, I feel like it makes sense because when you're talking about books, it's kind of personal. So the easiest way to connect with someone is to see their face. I know you can, I can connect with people's voices, but I think that there's a personal touch when you see someone's face. So that's why I'm showing mine, even though I'm inexperienced with that. And I'm usually a very private person, so it's kind of insane that I'm showing my face. But yeah, so I'm new to BookTube, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that and what this channel is going to be about. Now, in general, I'm a huge lover of books. I not only love books, like reading, I love physical copies of books. Don't get me wrong. I love a digital copy too. But if I'm going to own a book, I want a print copy, Preferably a hardcover, but I'm okay with paperback if I must. But I do prefer hardcover. But despite being a huge reader and making it a part of my everyday life, like I read hours every day, despite that, I have only been into reading for a few years now. And when I say a few years, I mean like 2 at the most. Like, I've been a writer for a lot longer than that, which makes it kind of wild that I have not been an adamant reader for so long. But I did start a few years back with a very big book, no less, The Way of Kings, and it's from Archive by Brandon Sanderson, which was a great book, 1,000 pages long, and it was my first fictional book that I ever finished, which is insane. So, it says a lot about its quality that me, a new reader, was able to get through it and really enjoy it. And I was reading it through the library at the time, so I had like 3 weeks to do it, and that's it. And I got it done. So it says a lot about the book's quality. I haven't finished the rest of that series despite owning it all, because it's a big series and a lot of work to read. And I have discovered I am not as big of a fantasy lover as I thought I was. And I lean towards other genres now. And I do still love this from my archive. It's still my favorite series of all time so far. But it's just a lot to read, so I'm tabling it for now. Now, I did say something about the genres. I do love fantasy, some sci-fi. I don't think I've ever really read sci-fi. I haven't read very much, I'll be honest, in the past 2 years, because that's all the reading I've really done, besides school reading, which I don't really count because that wasn't very fun. But I have not read very much sci-fi. If Brandon Sanderson counts, then I have read some sci-fi. But I haven't read any of the stories aside from this from my archive. And I've only read up to Oathbringer. No, I've read up to Dawnshard. But beyond that, nothing else of his. But I do love fantasy. Some sci-fi. A sci-fi, I guess, would work. But the thing is that it doesn't matter what genre it is. It has to have a strong romantic element. Or an element that I can connect with otherwise. But it has to have a strong romantic element for me to truly love it. So my archive did not have a strong romantic element, but it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. So I don't know how that one managed to slip past that. But I don't know. I could do a video on it. But My biggest attraction in a story is the romantic element. I love romance. It doesn't matter what the subgenre is, as long as there's romance in it, I'm probably gonna like it, especially if it's gay. I'm gonna be totally honest about that. I am looking forward to getting into some lesbian stuff. Generally, just like LGBTQ romances, I'm a big fan of. But I do want to diversify my the content I take in, not the content, the books I read. So I am looking into that. But so far, I've read a lot of gay romance, and I've really enjoyed it. Now, as for my own stories, I did mention I'm a writer, and I have been writing for nearly a decade, which is a fairly good chunk of my life. However, despite that, I have only finished a handful of stories, most of them being fan fiction, and I don't really consider those my stories. I mean, yeah, I wrote them, and there's a personal touch there because I wrote them, and I can talk about that a whole nother time. But ultimately, they're not my stories. They're not my characters. They're not my beliefs. I try to make the fan fiction all about, you know, how I see the canon characters. Because of that, I don't see it as my story. So I haven't really finished any of my own stories. At least I haven't until recently. Now, for why I haven't finished anything, perfectionism and ADHD, they're horrible. I mean, learning to live with them in conjunction with each other is so difficult, especially as a writer. And I could probably talk about that because despite having both of those issues, I was able to not only get started on writing the first draft of a novel, I was able to finish writing the first draft of a novel. It's not a standalone, it's going to be a part of a series, but I did finish it, and that is insane for me. It's incredible, and I probably do videos on that and how I did that. And, you know, the process is different for everyone, but I feel like my perspective might help others, so I might as well share it. Now, I am going to work on getting that actual draft published, and I also want to do that while I try to finish writing it, because it is a part of a series, and I have not written the rest of the series yet. Now, for publishing the draft I actually wrote, that will actually be a journey I spend a lot of time on this channel, because, fun fact, a big part of the reason why I wanted to start a BookTube channel / AuthorTube channel is because I want to share my journey when it comes to not only figuring out how publishing works, whether or not it's traditional or self-publishing, and which one works best for me, but also how to actually do either one and which one I am most interested in doing for myself. And actually the process, maybe a little bit of the process, I don't know how much of it I'm willing to share or how much I'm going to share, but I think I'm probably going to share a lot of it. But it depends when it comes to that, but the actual process of me getting published. Now, if I get traditionally published, I probably can't say too much about it, but if I get self-published, I probably can't say too much about it anyways, but after the fact, I probably can. So, yeah, I just feel like that'll be an interesting thing to explore, because as someone with ADHD, it has been so hard to get started with figuring out how to research what traditional publishing is or what self-publishing is, and, like, not just, like, the definitions, but them on a deep level. Like, what do you do? What's the first step? It's so hard to get started with that. So I figured that if I share my journey with you guys, it might help someone along the way who's curious, because I noticed that it helped me by watching other booktubers. So that's part of why I started this channel. There are other reasons why I decided to start this channel. Another one, besides wanting to share my publishing journey, which is a little out of order. It's not totally how I decided it, but I'm not going in order here. But beyond that, it was that I want to make a community of my own, whether that be for reading or writing. I want both, and I want to do both. Maybe even a little editing. I'm considering getting into editing as an editor of not necessarily my own stories, but other people's stories. I have no experience with it, but I do want to start trying. Maybe even start with beta reading or figuring out what the definition of that is, because I have a loose idea of it. Not a very strong idea, but I just want a community, one that's I'm a part of. And I think BookTube is a great way to do that, because it seems like Yeah, like all communities, it probably has its flaws and its moments where it's not the best, but I also see a lot of goodness and optimism and just general friendliness, and that's what I want. I want to have a friendly rapport with other readers, other writers, and just build a community around that. Now, for what you can expect from this channel I don't know why I became Scottish for a second there. But as for what you can expect from this channel in terms of content, beyond me sharing my publishing journey, learning how to publish and my journey towards actually publishing, I do also want to do book reviews. Because I have noticed that I do actually love book reviews, except I like talking more than typing the book reviews, which might be fun because I have an outline for this channel introduction. It's not really an outline, but yeah. But I'm probably going to have to do something similar for this with book reviews, so we shall see how that pans out. But the intention is that I will be doing book reviews. And maybe even like series reviews once I finish a series. Generally just a lot of book stuff. But the priorities are going to be book reviews and the publishing research / journey. Now, I don't know what the future holds for this channel. This is not my only YouTube channel. I'm not going to share my other one. I don't share my face on that one. And I don't want them to correlate. But I don't know what the future holds for this channel. But I do know I have a lot of ideas, and even as I'm recording this channel introduction, I'm coming up with new ideas for new videos I can film, record, whatever. And I'm really excited to get into it and to share all these ideas and just start. Now, beyond all of that, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And I don't usually do this, but I might start doing it, which means that I will be doing it for this channel. But if you've gotten this far, please do consider liking, potentially subscribing, or even commenting. I just want to put a little asterisk there. I love comments, as any writer would, or any YouTuber really. I love comments. It doesn't matter what the comment is, as long as it's friendly or nice. It could even just be like, this was great, or like a little heart emoji. I don't mind, as long as it's nice and friendly and supportive. Then I'm going to love it, and it's going to make me very happy. So if you want to comment, do not be afraid to. Anyways, I'll see y'all next time, and bye-bye.